Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Music and Life, and today we're going to be going over 10 tips that can help you as a producer, and we'll get right into it after this intro.
I know I'm so disrespectful, so good I can do it with my eyes closed, I know I'm so disrespectful.
All right, so tip number 1, less is more. Look, when I started off as a producer, I wanted to throw everything in the track to capture the listener. But now my approach is, how can I capture the listener with one sound? What sound is driving this track? And when I find that one sound, I'm going to capitalize on it and I'm going to build around that sound. And I'm not going to put every element up front. I'm going to let that element drive the track. So less is more. Find out what's the meat of your track and let that drive the track. And then sit in that space as long as you could. And then feel when the change need to come in. You know, as you're listening to music, you need to become a fan of your music. You need to sit back and listen to it and think, okay, I'm riding with this right now. Oh, hold on a second. I feel there should be a change right here because I lost interest. So let that help you make strategic decisions of what you throw into your track. Tip number 2, don't overthink. As you're creating, you're going to get in this headspace of what are people thinking about this track? What are they going to think about this track? Am I using the right sounds? Am I using the right EQ? Nobody cares. They just want the track to sound good. So, tip number 3, do not quit before you see the full idea come to fruition. Many times we want to throw in the towel because the track is not going the way that we think it should be going. And then we have all these other ideas in our head as we're creating this track. And so then sometimes we're even deleting things and then clicking save because we're building another track as we're building that track, whatever that means. But yes, do not quit before you see the full idea to come to fruition. Many times we are on the brink of a masterpiece and it's just missing that one element. And that could be a hi-hat that can throw the whole vibe into this other space. So don't quit before you see the full idea come to fruition. Tip number 4, finish while you're in the flow. You know, sometimes you're working and things are just connecting and you're doing chords and everything is just blending together so beautifully. Do not stop. It may be 2 a.m, but right now you're in the flow. Keep going until you finish that song because you have a burst of inspiration that is at your fingertips. Tip number 5, on the flip side, it's okay to walk away and come back in the morning. You know, many times I've worked on tracks and I come back in the morning, I thought it was whack last night, and then I come back and listen in the morning, I'm like, yo, this track is actually fire. But then vice versa, sometimes I worked on a track that was a banger, then I come back in the morning, I'm like, this track is trash. So, come back in the morning. Don't force it. If you're not feeling it or you're vibing with it, sometimes it's good to get up and take a walk. Don't force it. It's okay to come back. Tip number 6, don't worry about what other people are going to think. Listen, it's okay to be weird and go outside the box. It's okay. Be you in your creation. Let you shine through. Know the rules and then break them. It's okay to be weird and throw a synth in there that other people probably going to think that, you know, that synth is crazy. Why did you choose that synth? But then you say this synth actually really goes and I like it, so I'm going to use it. So don't worry about why I did that. Tip number 7, make your sound unique. Listen, there's a lot of elements out there. I know we can just grab loops, pull it in. There's even VSTs that create a melody for you, which is dope. But, you know, just tweak it a little bit, but also throw some effects on there. Make your sound stand out. Don't be afraid to experiment. So please experiment with your tracks. Step out the box in that way and tweak your sounds. That way they don't sound like everybody else's. Tip number 8. This is on the flip side. If it sounds good, it is good. Run with it. Sometimes we get so tempted thinking, man, I have to EQ that drum because somebody said I have to EQ that drum. No, not all the time. Not all the time. If it sounds good, then just run with it. Sometimes you may not even put an effect on anything in the track and it just sounds amazing. If it sounds amazing, then let it sound amazing and just go with it. Tip number 9. Sometimes you're going to have to go with what feels right rather than what looks right. Sometimes you may see something that's all the way in the red, real hot, but it just feels right. Maybe clipping, may be distorted, may sound all kinds of messed up according to what it looks like. But if it sounds good and it's fitting the track, then go with it. Tip number 10 is probably the most important. Give yourself the grace, the permission to continue to grow, experiment, and try all sorts of things. There's been times where I've been working and I didn't know how to do something. I'll just pull up a YouTube video and I'll sit there for about 20 minutes and watch it, because it's never a waste of time. Even when you go down a rabbit hole, it's never a waste of time. This is time spent where you're learning your craft and you're going to be able to use these techniques on other things. So continue to grow, continue to experiment, continue to learn, and give yourself permission to pull up YouTube videos and try new things. No one's ever gonna start running before they crawl. So be happy crawling, because at least you're doing something. Tricks, hope this was helpful. If it was, please subscribe, like, and share with somebody to encourage them, because that's what this channel is all about. I love to encourage. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'll catch you on the next one. Deuces.